Hi there YouTube, Sad Womble here. I've talked previously about how the MeToo movement has massively overreached, and this is a companion video to this. As of the current time, which is January 2018, the MeToo movement is losing steam, as it should do. Now, normally these things will just disappear into the ether and never be heard of again, and everyone will write them off as a stupid idea. I think Me Too is going to be different. I think the concept will vanish, as it should, but the ramifications are going to be much more long-term and are going to be much worse for women than they can ever possibly have imagined, because the Me Too movement has shown that women are basically happy to throw men under the bus at a moment's notice. They really don't care. Certain feminists have been on record as saying, I don't care if a few innocent men have to have their lives ruined. It doesn't matter to me. And the showing of the naked callousness of women to do this is something that I don't think the mainstream media and mainstream men specifically were ready for. Now, we in the MeToo movement, we always knew this was the case. This isn't news to us at all. But the sheer fact that it has now been exposed that women are quite happy to say, 10 years ago, a man put his hand on my knee, I want his life destroyed. And then they don't retract it or say anything. They go for it, and they continue to go for it, and they constantly use the victim card. You wrap all these problems together with the general victim card that women have been using for years, that everybody outside the men's rights movement and the MeToo movement have never really had any opinions on. It's always been, yeah, feminism's over there, we don't really care. This has brought it all into sharp relief, and I think this is one thing that once it's out of the bottle, you cannot put it back. We have now seen, especially with all the extra things like the Google memo, we have seen that women are determined to mess people's lives up. They are determined to go after men at a moment's notice and to make people's life a misery. It is now a known fact that if you upset a woman in the workplace, your life is destroyed. You don't just lose your job, you become unemployable. You now know that if your marriage falls apart, your life is destroyed. You're going to lose half your shit. If you talk to somebody in a shop and they don't like you, your life is destroyed. At a nightclub, your life is destroyed. Now, this has been really rammed down our throats in the mainstream due to Hollywood, because Hollywood have championed this. The mainstream media has gone, oh, wow. So this, for the first time, has really gained traction in the wider world rather than just the YouTube sphere, for want of a better term. And I think this is the difference. Not all the crazy feminist nonsense has now been shown to the wider world. And normal, in quotation marks, people have been turning around and going, this isn't just happening to the likes of Brad Pitt and Johnny Depp. This is, and Harvey and people, and they're not necessarily wife beaters, but they're people who have been accused of things. And then you've got the Harvey Weinsteins, etc., of these people, and the list goes on. But this could happen to me. This could happen in my workplace. If a woman turns around and says, I don't like you, you've made me feel uncomfortable, my life could be over. And now we're starting to see companies cancelling Christmas parties, cancelling all sorts of things. And this is just going to keep expanding. I mean, I'm not sure which country it's in, I think it's in the UK. We've had, for years, we have a thing called darts in this country, a sport called darts. And women, glamorous girls in, short skirts and high heels and stuff have been used. They've always brought on the participants. Now, and with all this going on, people have gone, oh, we can't have that. That's sexist. That's we can't have that. So people like that are suddenly not going to get used. So who are you hurting? Well, the darts players are still happy enough, but now you're going to lose those women who are making a very happy living from being glamorous. Now they're out of a job. Same thing's happening in Formula One. You don't have the girls on the grid anymore because that's sexist, and so it goes on. So all the things where objectification, if you like, was being done on the women's level and to the women's advantage. A beautiful woman says, hire me because I'm beautiful. All those jobs are going because that's sexist to have those women. And this is being now brought to the mainstream. And over time, and naturally so, because, men are logical creatures, we're going to say, well, we don't want to associate with you because it's not just happening in Hollywood. I don't want to associate with you because in my country, if I talk to you in my office, I could have my life destroyed. And I think this is why it's going to have longer term harm to women than anything else before, because previously there were small fringe things that really affected only a few people, but this has affected a lot of people, and it's been mainstream media, it's been widely known, widely reported, rapidly reported, some would say, and I think this is going to have longer term consequences. The genie, which has been out of the bottle for a while, has suddenly been standing there with a loud hailer. So previously it was out of the bottle, but now it's had its loud hailer and it's been heard, which it wanted to be heard. Deliberately, they have done this to themselves. But I think this is the most fantastic thing that could ever have happened, because it's going to show up the total disaster that they have made for themselves. Sad Womble, out.